My parents and sister Maya died when their yacht exploded at sea. There were no survivors. Staring at the empty house and mountains of debt, I was absolutely heartbroken and ready to jump off the roof, when a flood of cruel comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. Your parents actually won $300 million in the lottery and took Maya overseas to live the high life.Dot. Maya has no clue. Her poor, blind ex-boyfriend, the one she dumped, is actually Liam King, heir to the wealthy King family. He was just faking being poor with her.Dot. When Maya blows through all the money and comes back, Liam King will be furious and lock her up to punish her.Dot. Chloe, jump already. We're waiting for Maya to get back.Dot. I suddenly changed my mind about dying that night. Soaked to the bone and drunk, I stumbled into Liam King's apartment. After a wild night with Liam, I woke up with every muscle in my body sore. Liam opened his eyes right at that moment. He was blind. He'd lost his sight in a car crash 6 months earlier. My sister Maya had dumped him countless times, disgusted by his poverty and disability. But for a split second, I had this weird feeling he was staring straight at me. But just as quickly, his eyes went back to their usual empty. Focus stare. He spoke in a rough, hoarse voice. Maya, is that you? The malicious comments surged again. What the hell? Chloe didn't kill herself. How is she sleeping with Liam? Unbelievable. Is she trying to impersonate Maya? Liam's vision was restored ages ago. If she dares lie to him, she'll regret it big time. So he could see this whole time? I bit my lip, trying to calm my racing heart, forcing helplessness into my voice. No, I'm her sister. Chloe, my sister. She's gone. Yesterday, I meant to bring you some of her things, but I got drunk and don't remember anything after that. Glancing at our torn clothes balled up on the floor, I looked away awkwardly. Did you mistake me for Maya last night? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have drunk so much. I was just so heartbroken. I'm all alone now after all. I let out soft, trembling sobs. The comments swirled. What an idiot. She's still making excuses for Liam. Liam wasn't really blind yesterday. When she threw herself at him soaking wet, I saw Liam react right away. That any guy would react to a hot, wet girl throwing herself at him. This chick's a total schemer. Isn't she? A slight tremor ran through my body. The thin blanket slipped off my shoulder, exposing red marks on my pale skin. Liam's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. After a long pause, he finally spoke. I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. With teary eyes, I fumbled to wrap the torn clothes around myself. In that case, let's just forget this happened. I'll leave now. Please don't be upset. I stood up, my legs wobbly, nearly collapsing. Liam reached out to steady me. The second his fingertips brushed my wrist, I flinched. The comments started again, spewing insults. Liam won't be upset. He already knows Maya faked her death. That even those debt collectors, he hired them. Pushing Chloe to suicide was his first warning to Maya. That Maya has no clue her spot's been taken. That this is so frustrating. Chloe, just die already. I ducked my head and rushed out the door. When I got home, the debt collectors who'd been hanging around downstairs were gone. My heart dropped. They really were sent by Liam. I shut the door and collapsed onto the floor, completely drained. Every inch of my body ached. Of course, I hadn't been drunk originally. When I was desperate, I just wanted to get a little sympathy from Liam, hoping he'd go easy on me. I never expected him to react so intensely, keeping me up all night. I curled my lips into a bitter smile. Liam had lost his eyesight in a car crash while saving Maya. But after he went blind and became disabled, Maya wouldn't even look at him. He never answered his messages. She made him wait 3 hours in the freezing winter rain, while she video chatted with someone else upstairs. She hated his cheap gifts, tossing them in the trash right in front of him. I used to think he was wasting his time, but now it seemed like it was all just some rich kid's game. The comments suddenly erupted into an argument. For some reason, I think Maya made the right choice. Who doesn't want a rich guy? Who'd want a boyfriend who's both blind and broke? Even if Liam wanted to test her loyalty, playing games like this is totally unnecessary. But let's be real. Maya might be selfish, but she's just lucky. Once she and Liam make up, she'll become Mrs. King, and Liam will still spoil her rotten. That exactly. Good girls finish last. Bad girls get everything. That reading those comments, I thought they were completely ridiculous. Growing up, my parents always favored Maya over me. She stole my toys, my clothes, my scholarships. After I started working, I pulled all-nighters every day, and they take my paycheck to pay for Maya's expensive dance lessons and designer stuff. They wanted me to prop her up, make sure she succeeded. Now they'd won $300 million in the lottery. Not only did they abandon me with mountains of debt, but they wanted to use my life to pave her way too. Why should she get everything while I die like a dog? Resentment coiled around my heart like a poisonous vine. I'd always picked up Maya's leftovers anyway. Since Liam was one of her cast-offs, I might as well take him and use him. My next run-in with Liam happened sooner than I expected. As I walked out of the hotel where I worked part-time, completely worn out, I looked up and saw Liam standing across the street. A cigarette hung from his lips, and a white cane leaned against his leg. The rich really have the strangest hobbies. Maya was gone, but Liam King was still keeping up his little act. Not far away, a guy seemed to recognize him and approached. With a fake smile, I called out suddenly, "Liam." I marched right over to him. Before he could say anything, I grabbed his wrist. "Come with me." I spoke quickly, lowering my voice. "I saw someone suspicious approaching you. Probably debt collectors. My sister took out a huge loan before she left. And since you were her boyfriend, they'll definitely come after you. You can't see you'll be in danger. You got hurt saving my sister, so I'll look out for you in her place. Don't worry. As long as I'm around, I won't let them hurt you. I'll never leave you." My voice was so sincere it almost sounded religious. "Will you trust me?" I don't know what part of that got to him. Liam hesitated, then took a lazy step forward. He let me lead him, and I took him back to my place. And I kept my word, taking care of him like he was my own family. When his stomach acted up, I'd get up in the middle of the night to buy him medicine. Since he couldn't see, I'd hold his hand and guide him to feel his way around, over and over until he knew where everything was. Even when I was starving myself, I'd spend every cent I had to take him to a doctor appointments. Through it all, Liam would just look at me coldly, a hint of amusement sometimes flashing in his eyes. At the hospital, the doctor shook his head and said there was no improvement. I could barely hide my disappointment and heartache. Walking out of the exam room, Liam suddenly laughed bitterly. "I heard you sigh. Is this really worth it? You're not the one who's blind. Why are you so upset?" I stopped and suddenly cupped his face in my hands. Liam's eyes flickered with surprise, barely hidden. "You mean a lot to me," I said, looking straight into his eyes. "So your pain hurts me too. You have such beautiful eyes. I won't give up on them." Liam's Adam's apple bobbed, and he gave me a complicated look. My face showed how sad I was, but I forced a smile into my voice. "Honestly, I was thinking, if you could see again, I'd do anything." When we got home, I dragged him inside with teary eyes. While pouring water, I accidentally spilled half the cup on myself. Thin fabric clung to my body when it got wet, showing off my curves. Liam's expression changed. I noticed a subtle shift in his posture. Biting my lip, I pulled him close by his collar and kissed him first. Liam froze for a second before taking control of the kiss. The next morning, my body ached even more than the first time. I pushed through the discomfort and got up. Liam was already up, tossed a necklace at me. "I picked this up at a street vendor a while back. It's not worth much, but it's pretty. For you." The comments suddenly exploded. "Unbelievable. How did Liam end up with this, Chloe? Doesn't he know Maya got tricked into gambling and is in real danger?" I assent that the diamond Liam bought at the auction. Why is he giving it to Chloe? It was supposed to be a peace offering for Maya, after she flipped out about being locked up. "Are you crazy, Chloe? How dare you go after Maya's guy?" I ignored the crazy comments, looking at the necklace in my hand with fake surprise. A diamond from an auction. That must be worth a fortune, right? If I sold it, would that set me up for life? Just then, new comments popped up. "Relax, everyone. Can't you see Liam's just stringing Chloe along?" The King family had found out about his wild behavior this year and flipped, ordering him home immediately. That Liam's worried Chloe will cling to him, so he's putting on a whole show. He'll hire guys to fake his kidnapping, then stage his death at sea right in front of her, to crush her hopes completely. Chloe's such a lovesick fool. Can't she tell? Liam looks at her like she's a stray dog. Liam was leaving. I tightened my grip on the diamond, suddenly feeling cheated. I played my part so well these days. All I got was a lousy diamond. Meanwhile, Maya did nothing and would get everything just by coming back. That wasn't fair. That afternoon, Liam said he needed to go out alone and told me not to follow. I knew exactly what he was up to, and I had my own plans too. I went to the pharmacy and bought a pregnancy test. Thinking about the recent changes in my body, my heart was racing. When I saw the 2 bright red lines on the test, I let out a huge sigh of relief. I still had an ace up my sleeve in this game. Just then my phone rang. "Chloe, right? You don't pay up, you pay the price. Liam's with me now. If you don't want him dead, get to this address." When I got there, I saw Liam's back. He was tied to the railing of an abandoned cargo ship, hands bound behind his back. Kidnapper gave me an evil grin. "I only gave you 20 minutes. You're too late. His time's up." With that, he cut the rope right in front of me. Liam, still tied up, fell straight into the ocean. My eyes went wide. The next second, I ran forward without thinking. I jumped in. The water was freezing, and my vision started to blur. Through the haze, I saw the Liam figure untie himself and swim smoothly toward shore. I scoffed to myself. Liam's hired double wasn't very convincing. But I still jumped in without hesitation. Because I was gambling on a possibility, betting my life on it. I gambled that I would win. The water was so cold, I quickly lost strength, thinking slowly toward the ocean floor. Just as I thought I'd lost the bet, someone gasped and dove into the water. I forced my eyes open. The last thing I saw was Liam's panicked face, a look I'd never seen on him before. When I came to in the hospital, my whole body felt icy cold to the bone. I heard the doctor scolding Liam beside me. Do you realize she's pregnant? And you took her to a place like that? What kind of boyfriend are you? Thankfully, the baby's okay, but she's severely malnourished. If you want this child, you need to take better care of her. Liam didn't argue. He turned to look at my unconscious form. His expression complicated. Chloe, do you really love me that much? You'd risk your life to save mine? And just then I opened my eyes. Our eyes met for 2 seconds before I quickly looked away. My voice was weak, but steady. Doctor, I want to terminate the pregnancy. Liam's eyes sharpened. What did you say? I turned my head away. This baby shouldn't be born. I'm getting rid of it. Your eyes have been fine for a long time. Why did you lie to me? The silence in the hospital room was suffocating. Liam stood there, no longer the fumbling, blind man I had cared for, but a towering figure of cold authority. His eyes, those beautiful, piercing eyes that had supposedly been clouded for months, were now fixed on me with an intensity that felt like a physical weight. The comments before my eyes were a chaotic mess. Oh damn, she called him out. Liam's face is priceless right now. Chloe is playing a dangerous game. If she gets rid of that baby, she loses her only leverage. Wait, look at Liam's hand. It's shaking. Is he actually catching feelings? Dot. Maya just landed in the city. She's at a 5-star hotel ordering champagne while Chloe's bleeding out. Kill them all, Chloe. I didn't blink. I let a single, lonely tear track down my cheek. You watched me, I whispered, my voice cracking perfectly. You watched me slave away, skip meals, and beg doctors to save your sight. All while you could see every pathetic move I made. Was it funny, Liam? Was I good entertainment? Liam's jaw tightened. He took a step toward the bed, but I flinched back, pressing myself against the headboard. Chloe, it wasn't like that, he said, his voice deep and rough. The kidnapping. It was supposed to be a clean break. I didn't think you'd jump. I jumped because I thought you were dying. I screamed, the hysteria only half faked. I jumped because I had nothing left but you. And now I find out you're the heir to the King family. The man who sent debt collectors to my door to test a sister who wasn't even there? You almost killed me. I grabbed the bedside phone. Get the doctor. I want the procedure done today. I won't bring a child into a world where its father is a monster. Stop it. Liam lunged forward, grabbing my wrist. His grip was firm but careful. His eyes were no longer cold. They were panicked. You are not touching the baby. And you are not leaving me. He's hooked. The guilt trip is super effective. Dot. He's taking her to the King estate. This is where the real drama starts. Why? I spat. So you can keep me as a pet? A replacement for Maya? Maya is nothing, Liam said, his voice turning icy at the mention of her name. She's a shallow thief. You're something else entirely. He didn't give me a choice. Within an hour, I was discharged and carried, not walked, but carried, into a sleek black Maybach. The King estate was a fortress of glass and marble. For a week, Liam kept me confined to a luxury suite. I had the best food, the best prenatal vitamins, and a literal army of maids. But I was a prisoner. Liam visited every night. He would sit in the shadows of the room, watching me eat. He tried to be kind, bringing me jewelry and rare books, but I remained a statue of cold resentment. I needed him to stay guilty. Guilt is a much stronger tether than love for a man like Liam King. The comments kept me informed. Maya is losing her mind. She spent $10 million in a week and the lottery office froze the account due to a suspicious activity flag. Dot. Chloe's parents are planning to flee to Switzerland. They think the yacht explosion cover-up is failing. Liam is investigating the lottery win. He knows. He knows. One evening the bedroom door swung open. It wasn't Liam. It was an older woman with silver hair and a face like a sharpened blade. Liam's mother, the matriarch of the King family. So you're the sister, she said, eyeing my stomach with disdain. The one who crawled into my son's bed while your sister was dead. You look like a common social climber. I didn't cower. I stood up, smoothing my silk robe. I'm the one who jumped into the ocean for your son while he was busy playing pretend, Mrs. King. If I'm a climber, I've certainly earned the view. Her eyes narrowed. Before she could speak, a commotion broke out downstairs. A shrill, familiar voice echoed through the marble halls. Liam. Liam, honey, I'm home. It was all a mistake. I was kidnapped. I survived. My heart skipped a beat. Maya. The comments went wild. Here we go. Maya looks like a wreck. She's wearing a $50,000 dress, but she's shaking like a leaf. Liam's expression is terrifying. He's standing at the top of the stairs like the angel of death. I walked out to the balcony overlooking the grand foyer. Down below, Maya was clinging to Liam's arm, sobbing. She looked beautiful, even in her fake distress. Our parents were behind her, looking sheepish and dressed in designer clothes that didn't fit their panicked expressions. Liam, it was so horrible, Maya wailed. The explosion. I drifted at sea for days. I only just got back to the city and heard you were looking for me. Liam didn't move. He didn't hug her. He slowly unpeeled her fingers from his sleeve. Drifted at sea, Maya? Liam's voice was dangerously quiet. Is that why you have a tan from the French Riviera? Is that why your bank records show you spent $300,000 at a casino in Monaco 2 nights after the explosion? Maya froze. Her face turned pale. I can explain. And what about the lottery? Liam continued, stepping down the stairs, forcing my parents to back away. The $300 million. The debt you left for Chloe to pay. Did the ocean currents give you those winning numbers? I chose that moment to make my entrance. I walked slowly down the stairs, one hand resting on my still flat stomach. Maya. I said, my voice sweet and lethal. You're alive. What a miracle. Maya's head snapped up. When she saw me, her grief turned to pure, unadulterated rage. Chloe? What the hell are you doing here? And why are you wearing that? She's living here, Liam said, stepping beside me and, for the first time in front of others, putting an arm around my waist. She's the woman who stayed when you ran. And she's carrying my heir. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of my mother dropping her designer handbag. You're pregnant. Maya shrieked. You bitch. You stole him. You knew he was rich this whole time, didn't you? You've always been a jealous little leech. She lunged at me, but Liam's security caught her effortlessly. Get them out, Liam ordered. Wait. I interjected, my voice calm. They owe me something, Liam. They left me with $2 million in debt. They left me to die. My father stepped forward, his face red with shame. Chloe, honey, we were going to come back for you. We just needed to get the money settled. We're a family. Family doesn't fake their death to avoid sharing a prize, I said. The comments started scrolling faster. Chloe, check the phone in Maya's back pocket. She has a recording. Dot. Maya is planning to blackmail Liam with a video of him hitting her. It's a setup. Look at the father. He has a gun in his waistband. He's desperate. My eyes darted to my father's waist. A small bulge. My heart hammered against my ribs. These people weren't just greedy. They were backed into a corner. Liam, I whispered, leaning into him. Check my father. Now. Liam's eyes sharpened. He signaled his men. My father tried to run, but he was tackled. A 9mm pistol clattered onto the marble floor. You were going to kill your own daughter? Liam's voice was a low growl. She's ruining everything. My father screamed as he was pinned down. That money was ours. We earned it by raising her. She was supposed to be the backup. I felt a coldness wash over me. The last shred of love I had for these people evaporated. Liam, I said, looking him in the eyes. I want them gone. Not just out of the house. I want the lottery money frozen. I want the fraud reported. I want them to have nothing. Consider it done, Liam said. Weeks passed. My parents and Maya were embroiled in a massive legal battle. Since the lottery win was predicated on a series of fraudulent identities they used to disappear. The government seized the assets. They were back in the gutter, facing years of prison for fraud and attempted assault. I sat in the garden of the King estate, watching the sunset. I was no longer the girl ready to jump off a roof. I was the future Mrs. King. But I wasn't happy. The comments were still there, drifting in the air. She thinks she won. Dot. Liam is looking at the DNA test results in his study right now. Wait, what? DNA test. Chloe, he switched your vitamins for birth control weeks ago. He knows you aren't pregnant anymore. My blood ran cold. I had a miscarriage 3 days after the hospital visit. The stress, the cold water. The doctor told me privately. I had kept it a secret, planning to lose the baby later in a staged accident to keep Liam's sympathy. I stood up and walked toward the study. I didn't knock. Liam was sitting behind his desk. In front of him was a medical report. He looked up, his face unreadable. You were never going to tell me, were you? He asked. I leaned against the doorframe. You were never going to tell me you could see. We're both liars, Liam. That's why we work. He stood up and walked toward me. I expected anger. I expected to be kicked out. Instead, he took my face in his hands. The baby didn't matter, Chloe. I knew you weren't pregnant the moment we got home. I have my own doctors. I froze. Then why? Why keep me here? Why help me get revenge? Liam leaned down, his lips brushing mine. Because Maya was a puppet. She did what I expected. But you jumped into the ocean knowing I was faking. You saw the comments, didn't you? The world stopped. You can see them too? I whispered. Liam smiled, a dark, predatory tilt of his lips. I've seen them since the accident. They told me my girlfriend was a gold digger. They told me my sister-in-law was a genius. I wanted to see how far you'd go to win the game. The comments exploded in a blinding flash of gold text. System synced. The king and queen of lies.Dot. They deserve each other. So, Liam whispered, the lottery money is gone. Your family is in jail. And I have everything I want. What's our next move, Chloe? I looked at the comments, then at the man who was just as broken and brilliant as I was. I reached up and straightened his tie. The King family has a lot of enemies, doesn't it? I asked. Let's start with them. Outside, the wind howled, but inside the King Manor, the game was just beginning. Epilogue, 1 year later. The gala was the event of the season. I walked in on Liam's arm, wearing a diamond necklace that made the one he'd first given me look like a toy. In the corner of the room, a server with a scarred face and trembling hands offered us champagne. It was Maya. She had been released from prison early for good behavior, but her reputation was dead. She was working for a catering company, forced to serve the sister she had once trampled. As I took a glass from her tray, I leaned in close to her ear. The comments say you're planning to poison my drink, I whispered. Maya's eyes went wide with terror. Don't bother, I said, patting her cheek. I already swapped the trays. As Maya turned pale and looked at the drink she had just served to the head of the King family's rival, I turned back to Liam. The comments floating above the crowd were peaceful for once. Checkmate. Dot. Chloe King wins. I smiled and took a sip of my perfectly safe champagne. It tasted like victory,